Welcome everyone to a little bit of light awaiting Moshiach. We've been spending a lot of time discussing the 15th bracha, the 15th blessing of the Shemona Esrei of Es Samach David Avdecha, because that is the blessing of Shemona Esrei in which we ask Hashem to send Mashiach. So when we say this blessing, again, let's repeat it. What do we say? Es Samach David Avdecha Be'eras Tzmiach, the flourishing of your servant David, you shall quickly bring forth. The karnoi terum b'shu asecha, and his pride shall be lifted with your salvation. Ki lishu ascha kivinu kalayom, because for your salvation we hope for all day long. Baruch atah Hashem, blessed are you Hashem, matzmiach keren Yeshua, the one who brings forth the flourishing of salvation. Now, there is a halachic work called Kaf HaChaim, written by Harav Yaakov Chaim Sofer, who was a Sephardic sage. He was born in 1870, and he passed away in 1939. And he writes regarding this blessing of the Shemona Esrei, when you say these words, for your salvation we hope for all day, you shall concentrate and hope every day for his salvation. Meaning, when you say these words, we hope for your salvation, you should actually hope for it. Put in some time and some concentration and some effort to actually hoping for Hashem's salvation. And he says, by doing this, we will save ourselves embarrassment. Because we have mentioned before that the Talmud tells us, the Talmud in Shabbos tells us, that after our time in this world is up, we will come before the heavenly tribunal. And one of the questions we're going to be asked is, Tzipisa li Yeshua, did you await the salvation? Well, in order to be able to say that we did, here's the opportunity. When you say these words, Ki lishu ascha kavinu kol hayom, for your salvation we hope for all day, that is our chance to hope. That's our chance to fulfill and to be able to answer that question we're going to be asked. Which means that what we need to do is, the whole purpose of this whole series of classes has been to understand what Mashiach is about, why await the coming of Mashiach. And therefore, what we need to do when we say these words is not just run through them, but even for a few seconds, stop and think about awaiting and hoping and anticipating the coming of Mashiach. Now, there's something I think important to point out, and that is that we talk about in this blessing, we say, Ki lishu ascha kivinu kol hayom, we hope for your salvation all day. Which salvation? Recently it was striking me that, we're phrasing this as we wait your salvation. We've spoken about before that awaiting Mashiach is not about just being saved from our tsaris, from our national suffering, from individual suffering. It's a much bigger picture. It's about wanting that Hashem's will should be recognized in the world. The world should be aligned with Hashem's will. The same way we want our Father's will to be fulfilled, we want Hashem's will to be fulfilled. And the ultimate fulfillment of that will is for Hashem to be recognized throughout the world clearly. The world should come into line with what he wants. And as we discussed with that, everything else will come in line. Everything else will work out. There will be no more problems anywhere once we come to that point of time. So if the idea is to be focused on Hashem, the fulfillment of Hashem's will, so it was just striking me kind of funny that we're phrasing it as we hope for your salvation. We're hoping for his honor. But it's really not a question, because I've been making the mistake that lishu ascha, your salvation, I was right away focused in salvation from our suffering, from our problems, which we have so many of. That's not what it means. It means Ki lishu ascha, for your salvation of the world is what we're hoping for. Because that is what we're awaiting. When everything becomes in line with Hashem's will, the world will be saved. And when the world is not in line with Hashem's will, the world is in trouble. So when we're talking about we await your salvation, it means we await the salvation of the world. We await for the world to be able to be where it's supposed to be, to fulfill what it was created for. When that doesn't happen, the world is in trouble. We're all lacking. Life can be great. We may not have any personal troubles, national problems. We may not have any of them. But if the world is not in line with Hashem's will, then the world is suffering. So we're praying for the salvation of the world. It means we are focusing on the world coming to where it's supposed to be. The world, when it's not in line with Hashem's will, the world is in trouble, the world is suffering. And we are looking for that time where everything in the world, the ultimate salvation, will come together, because everything now will come in line with Hashem's will. Everyone will recognize Hashem's glory, and everything will come in line with His will. That's what we're waiting for. Yeshuascha, your salvation. Which salvation? The salvation of the world. Because it's the world that needs to be saved. It's the world that needs to come in line with Hashem. And then the world will be saved. It'll come to its ultimate purpose. So we need to, when we say these words in the Shemona Esrei, we need to give perhaps even just a few seconds, just to stop and think about how we want the world to come in line with Hashem's will. And then, and when that happens, everything will be in order. But again, we're looking for a world in order for ourselves. We're looking for a world that is saved, a world that is now in line with Hashem's will, a world that comes to its ultimate purpose. So we need to give a few seconds to that. We hope for your salvation every day, and stop and think about hoping, awaiting. And when we do that, we'll be able to answer that ultimate question, the question of Tzipisa Yeshua. Have you hope for the salvation? Have a wonderful Shabbos.